You know that Jared over at Knives Knives sends a lot of stuff over for me to review on the channel, and usually it's stuff that's just pretty good. Every once in a while, he sends me something that is absolutely incredible, and that's what has happened with this knife. We're going to look at one of the best little knives I've seen in a very long time. All right, guys, we're finally getting back around to it. This is the Farah Monster Glideman. And I gotta say, I'm really excited about this knife. And I don't mean like I'm excited that it's coming. I'm excited that I got to handle it because this thing's great. Let's get the box out of the way and take a good look at this. Now, every once in a while, like I said in the intro, every once in a while, Jared will send me a knife that just really it flies up on that list of knives that I absolutely am in love with. This Glideman is one of those knives. Listen to the action on that thing. This is the final review. I've been carrying this for a few weeks now, since before Christmas at least, and I'm pretty impressed with it. So let's go ahead. We'll get some specs out of the way. We'll do some size comparison, then we'll talk about the knife overall. So on this, we're looking at titanium and M390. You've got an overall length of 7.19 inches, a closed length of 4.13. Blade length is coming in at 3.05 inches. Now, that's kind of a smaller knife, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. This one is done in a blue anodizing and a stone wash. It is M390 at 60 to 62 Rockwell, and it's running on bearings 3.77 ounces on this. Now, it is a flipper and reverse flick aperture on this. And this is just a great, great, great little knife. Let's do some size comparisons so that you can see, you know, if you're new to the channel, I do some actual size comparisons so you can have a reference. Your first knife for size comparison is Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Really a good reference on this. Your next knife for size comparison? Benchmade Osborne 940, probably one of the best known knives in the knife industry. And your final knife for size comparison, as always, the legendary, often copied but never duplicated Chris Reeve large Sabenza. Mine's a large 21. So let's get this out of the way and start talking about this knife. So this thing is a great little knife that really, this thing performs outside of its size factor. This is one of those knives that even though it's smaller, does not give up anything when it comes to usefulness and utilitarian purposes. Beautiful frame lock titanium on this. Great detent. Great detent. Easy access to the lock bar. You've got this great M390 blade that's done in a modified sheep's foot. Really attractive, almost reptilian looking. It's got some Ferrum Forge Knife Works vibes to it, to tell you the truth. Great big aperture on this, and then this comes down to a nice behind the edge thickness. It's right in that Goldilocks zone where I want an edge. Now, my caliper batteries are dead, or I would measure the thickness of the behind the edge thickness for you. Stonewash on this is a very nice stonewash that has held up really, really well. In hand, it's got this nice curvature to it in hand, so when you're back here, and then the big ample finger choil, so that if you're using it, you can really bear down. With that as well, you've got some jimping back here if you're behind the finger choil, and when you're up in the finger choil, you've got this scalloped out area that is just a natural spot to put your thumb so that you can use it. Now, the angle of it means that you're able to do some cuts at this angle and your thumb's not in the way. Nicely radiused. It's not too radiused where it just feels like you don't have the cutting ability. It cuts a lot flatter than other knives. So if you're cutting, you're not going to slip up and over. And then, like I said, the angle of this, it drops down into the cut and it cuts aggressively, and it feels really, really good in hand in either one of those grips. Nicely done titanium handles on this with a lot of weight reduction that gives it a nice neutral balance. I like a good neutral balance. I did have this apart. It's not difficult to disassemble. It is keyed hardware. You got their nice cool logo on that, and then access to that aperture is really good. On a small knife, a lot of times people try to leave this too proud, and then when you're trying to get access to that, you have a hard time. Not at all. Really, really good access. And then the action on it is just, it just slams open in the reverse flick. And then if you load up on it, on that flipper tab, it's just about perfect. Nice, comfortable, big, ample area there for your finger in this behind the choil, behind that grip. And then it comes down nice and thick here. And then there's a big spot for you to put a lanyard here that's part of the backspacer. I'm on the fence with these. Sometimes these can be ugly, but it does give you that lanyard hole where you don't have to worry about, if you've got an expensive bead on your lanyard, you don't have to worry about cutting it because it's not going to at all get in the path of the travel of that. And then in and out of pocket, it's been pretty good because this is nice and flat on most pants. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then pocket clip's pretty comfortable in hand. There's no real hot spots on this. So yeah, and they did a really good job. I love it when companies cut these pocket clips out. I'm not a fan of surface mounted pocket clips. They have a tendency to walk around, and then if you try to tighten them down, sometimes you'll go a little bit overboard and then strip out your hardware. But it's nice and pocketed out, so your pocket clip sits in there. So even if your hardware gets a little bit loose, it's not going to move around too much. So yeah, really, really nice. Now there's a couple things about it that I would like to see a little bit of a change on. So we're going to flip this thing around and look at flip side of the story, flip side of the knife. Okay, so let's crack into these couple of little negatives I've had. So first and foremost, the flipper tab it's really good. It's a really good flipper tab, but there's some jimping that's here that if you've got big fingers like me, when you're up in this choil, you can feel that little sharp spot on it. It didn't need to come that far up and around, so you can see when it's closed. You don't need that excess little jimping down there. You only need it up here on the top. So that's it. Speaking of jimping, the jimping on this is not bad. It's not too soft. You've actually got good jimping. There's just not quite enough of it. I would like to have seen some jimping go further up into here. Not the full length, but a little bit of more jimping up here, because it is good jimping. And if you're going to do jimping, you're going to do it right. Now we're at a problem where there's just not enough of it, because even holding it like this is where my thumb's going to sit. So I'd like to have seen a little bit more jimping up here. And then jimping on here, this doesn't serve a purpose. This was done for aesthetic detailing. I don't find jimping to be attractive, and to have it back here, you really don't need it. And you can kind of feel it when you got a hold of the knife. You can kind of feel it back here. It's not that it's sharp. It's just, it doesn't need to be there. Next thing. I kind of wish that they had done this cutout differently. It's not horrible. In and out of most pockets, it's fine. But if you're using thicker pants like 511s, that's a hard transition, and it does want to catch up. And if you've got pants like mine, like jeans that have just been torn up by other knives, it's going to catch, and it's just going to rip them up and stuff like that. So that next thing, the pocket clip itself. While the pocket clip itself is really comfortable in and out of pocket, it's not a problem. On a knife this short, it's a little bit long, and I always have a problem, just a me thing, I always have a problem with pocket clips that are this long. They have a tendency to catch on things, more so than some of the shorter clips that you see on knives. Especially on a knife this big, it winds up taking up a lot of real estate on the knife. It's a comfortable pocket clip, but like I said, I've caught this on my seat belt several times, and I just think that a shorter pocket clip would not have caught that badly. Other than that, I'm really digging this knife. Those are just some minor things that absolutely, I would say nitpicking, but you guys know I do like to bring you anything I find on a knife so that you can make an informed decision at purchase. Guys, absolutely recommend this knife. Not that expensive. It's under $300 for M390 titanium. There is going to be a link down below in the description, and I'll do a pinned comment with a purchase link for this. So guys, that's it on this one. Let's turn it around and send you out about your day with some final thoughts. Guys, yeah, I absolutely love this thing. From the way it looks to the way it feels in hand, the way it cuts, just the thought out processes in everything about this knife. It's great. I will try to find an affiliate link for you guys now, or a purchase link down below, so you guys can pick one up. But yeah, absolutely a great all-around knife, and I really can't find anything too much wrong with it, except for just the few little things that I mentioned. So there you go, guys. That's it on this one. If you want to support the channel so I can continue to do these things, and you don't want to have to drop a super chat or things like that, like people say, the e-begging, I have a ton of affiliate links down below. If you're going to buy knives, Blade HQ, Knives Shirt Free, GP Knives, a ton of affiliate links, Olight, Kaiser Knives, they're all down below. They're all set out down below. You can use those for shopping. It doesn't cost you anything extra at checkout. Use my Amazon link down below for all of your Amazon shopping. I even have 2 that have discounts built in. Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trail save you 10% at checkout when you purchase from them. And they're great companies that are owned by great dudes that I personally know. I also have got a coupon code of Crazy Sharp that will save you money at a couple other vendors. Crazy Sharp, all one word, saves you 10% at Fair & Forged Knife Works, KATSU Knives, and Rosecraft Blades. Just, you can't beat it. I have got a membership if you want to do it that way. If you want to support the channel, you get early access to videos, you get exclusive content when I do it. And I do have a public Discord down below. If you have something like this that you haven't seen on the channel, that you want to reach out to me, see if you want to send it, that's the best way to do it. It says join the community. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I will see you guys in the next video.